I'm exposing the best strategy to produce gems in Minecraft Prison. This strategy requires specific enchants for your pickaxe to obtain these gems. So without further ado, let's execute this plan. So in order to get these enchants that will produce us more gems and gems overall, we're gonna need a decent bit of tokens. Currently we only have 13 trillion, but we're gonna have to gather more. Because if we go ahead, right click our pickaxe and go into token enchants, the first enchant that produces gems is Prestige Finder. And I'll give a rundown of what this is. So essentially prestiges is when you mine for money. So when you're mining blocks, you're going to be given money, and then you get prestiges when it converts, and then those prestiges give you gems. But this enchant cancels out the money aspect and just gives you prestiges and then gives you gems. And then there's also its secondary enchant version called Prestige Merchant, what has a chance to multiply the prestiges found from Prestige Finder, but it costs a ton more, so we probably won't be getting much of that, but it is a very good way to get a ton of gems. So without further ado, let's go ahead and start mining. We're also going to be using our gems towards getting some gem enchants, and we'll also be getting some other enchants in the token section maybe today. Who knows? We'll see what happens. One thing I'm going to do is claim my milestones because there might be a decent bit of tokens in here, and we'll also get given some caches and bronze vaults and whatnot for milestones, what can give us tokens, what will be useful. But as you can see on the scoreboard, our money is going up slowly. But then if you look at our prestiges, we're currently at 2.91 million. So once it converts, we'll get a decent bit of gems in the gem section. So we're at 816,000. And then now we're at 828,000. So we went up a decent bit in about like 30 seconds, I'd say. It wasn't a lot of time really. And that's without Prestige Finder though. Just the base amount with Fortune, because Fortune gives you money. So that's another way you could go, but it's not really as reliable as Prestige Finder. So we're gonna go ahead and spend the 22 trillion into Prestige Finder and get 22 levels. That was basically all of our tokens, but as you can see, it's procking in chat Prestige Finder, and we're gonna start making a ton of gems. We're currently at 841,000, and now it's going up. We're almost at 850,000. One thing about Prestige Finder, it does spam the chat, so if you wanted, you could go into the upgrade menu and then press this button, what toggles the message in the chat, in case you don't want it to spam your chat, of course, but currently I do not care about that. I just thought I'd mention it. We're gonna try and open this pouch because the pouch should give me tokens, a decent bit too. So we do want to go ahead and acquire that. As well, my robots since day one have been AFKing over time. Let's go ahead and do /warp robots, I think it is. And then let's go to the robots. We got 69 trillion, nice. And we got 500,000 plus gems, what means we're gonna go into our gem enchants and get our lottery enchant, what gives us pickaxe levels and occasionally tokens and other sorts of loot as well. But now we have 70 trillion, so we're gonna spend that into Prestige Finder, get 65 more levels, so now we're at 87. But currently we're at 225,000 gems around there. And as you can see, if you just look at the scoreboard and look at the gems amount for a bit here, we've not even been mining for 30 seconds, and we went up like, I believe 2,000 gems or 3,000, now 4,000. It's just going up significantly fast, and I'm not even trying to mine properly. Like, I'm just swinging my mouse around. So it's very effective, just you need a ton of Prestige Finder. And what I want to see is how high we can get it, of course, in today's video, because then in the long run, it will actually produce us more gems that we can use. Also, we still have a ton of gems on us we can spend on gem enchants. What I'm thinking, we're gonna go ahead and get 60 levels into Multiplier Finder. What I believe produces more money, what produces obviously more prestiges and whatnot, but Multiplier Finder is a good enchant, so I'm not complaining. I'll take it. We got 15 trillion from our pouch, as well as some more gems that we can go ahead and spend those gems into Multiplier Finder and max that out for 400,000 for 40 levels. So Multiplier Finder is done. Let's see how much we get when it updates here on the scoreboard, our money. I'm quite curious because we have 150 trillion about there. Let's see how much gems we get from this. So we got about 10 to 20,000. It wasn't too much, but if we keep getting more multipliers, it'll keep adding up over time. Let's go into enchants, get more Prestige Finder, get another 16, and now we're at 103. What the default activation chance by default is literally just 5%. It's just, I believe you get more prestiges the higher the level goes on the enchant, but I technically prefer than a proc chance boost. We do have a milestone for 6 trillion. Let's go ahead and find all our milestones. Just get a decent bit of tokens out of all this. Got some mystery bronze vaults. Let's open those. Also, last video I did not mention that you could just shift right click. I did find out after I posted that if you shift right click, you can insta open the boxes without having to go through the menu. So that was something I did not know about, but I mean, it is what it is. It's whatever, but it is pretty useful though. Okay, so we currently have 20 trillion almost. Let's go ahead and spend that into more prestige finder. I think we'll try and hit 150 at least on this, I think is the plan. It should be a pretty easy task since we're only like less than 50 levels away. We got a bronze vault we can open here, get some tokens. One thing I have to do eventually is open up armor boxes for a video because we're gonna need those. So we'll do those later down the line. But we got some attachment and crystal boxes that we'll go ahead and open up really quick. We'll just see what we get for the proc boost, of course. We got a prestige finder boost, what is actually really good because we technically need that. So if we go ahead, go to our attachment and put this in, we now have way more prestige finder proc boost. How much was it exactly? 2.81%, what is not bad. So we have 7.81% in total on our prestige finder, what is really good. The crystal box gave us a token boost, what I'm probably not going to be using for the time being because we can't even use the crystal, to be fair. One thing I'm starting to notice, we're able to hit over around 300 trillion before our money resets, what means the multiplier finder is working, what means we're getting more gems from that as well, what is really good. Before we were getting about 200 trillion at highest, but now we get way better. We got another milestone we can claim here, get all the loot from this. Once we're done with this pouch, we'll go ahead, open up the caches at spawn, and then spend the rest of our tokens on our pickaxe, hoping we can get 150 prestige finder. All right, we got 17.5 trillion from that pouch. Now let's go to spawn, open up all these caches, see what we get. Token wise, we're at 26 trillion. Let's see if we get a decent bit of tokens. We got up to 38 trillion, what isn't too bad. I'll take it. Okay, so if we go ahead and spend all the tokens, we can get 32 levels, what gets us right over 150, but right on 151. So perfect. But there we go. That is the best strategy to make gems that I know of currently, but I hope this method was helpful.